Oh boy, I wonder what stupid thing is getting turned into a big deal on the internet today.
This guy is an asshole. This guy's an absolute asshole. Like, I'm literally the only reason I have him unmuted. The only reason I have him unmuted is for content. Like,
Don't harass this person. She's allowed to voice her own opinions just in the same manner as I am. But you may point and laugh. So there's been recent kerfuff on Twitter about some streamer girl getting upset and crying to the internet about how some Aussie kid told her he would force himself upon her sexually. That led her to rage quitting the game and getting a rank ban as a result. Enter Taylor Morgan _, a video game streamer with a decently large following on Twitch and TikTok, better than anything I could whip up, and she posted one of her more recent games to X, formerly known as Twitter, to, let's say, mixed reviews.
Shut up, silly woman.
And so the shitstorm begins. And it splattered a bit of itself onto my feed, so I check it out. I mean, was it that serious? What game was she even playing? Fucking Valorant. I personally believe that if she actually wants an extreme quality of life change, she should just uninstall the game. When I finally got rid of League, I could see my dick again. I wasn't gonna make a comment on this because who cares? It's just a girl whining that she's being treated like a boy in a boy game. But then I saw fucking Andrew Tate reply to that shit. Before I could tell him to shut the fuck up, I thought to myself, why the fuck am I following Andrew Tate? So as I was gonna hit the reply button, I realized, if someone so out of touch with the gaming sphere like Andrew Tate is commenting on something like this, that means it's made its way to normie fucking Twitter. And it's insane that we're still having this conversation. Please stop being shocked when you enter a predominantly male space and they treat you like a male.
I am shocked. Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
It's not fucking rocket science. First thing that comes to mind is, this girl would have never made it in a COD lobby. I can tell you right now, the 4 things you should never be in a game with voice comms is as follows in no particular order. Number 1, don't be black. Sometimes it's unavoidable, and once discovered, it's Gamergate time. Number 2, don't be fat. That one's harder to hide because you can just hear a fat fuck's fat fuckness over comms. Number 3, don't be a fucking kid. All former enemies will assemble to rain hell upon you and your mother. Number 4, whatever you do, don't be a girl. See, where she fucked up was generally around the time she was born, so there isn't really much that could have been done. Wait, what's that? There's a mute function in games? Oh, fuck, that's genius. But how are players gonna communicate if they can't talk? Pings with voice lines? Holy shit, you're fucking cooking. Then we're all set, right? Surely once she gets the feeling that her teammates are toxic, she'll just mute them and move on.
like, I'm literally the only reason I have him unmuted.
What do you mean she unmuted them? Why?
The only reason I have him unmuted is for content.
For content? Why? Look at what it's got her. She gained nothing from that experience. She tried going toe-to-toe with a teenager. Of course you're gonna fucking lose. They're ruthless. Once they smell weakness, you're done for. Those tables at lunchtime were a fucking war zone. Nobody was safe. And you better hope you don't fucking stutter. There were some replies defending her inane actions, going on about how she wanted to get them on VOD so she could show it as evidence. What? That's what the report function is for. They go through the game to review comms. People actually do get banned for abusing voice chat. But you know the craziest thing? Because now she's all hurt, sitting in her corner getting comforted by the girlies and white knights, when the most obvious reason as to why this happened to her is her own fault. No, you Nimrod. It's not her fault that the teenager said the mean thing. It is her fault, however, for allowing it to go that far by unmuting the people whom she knew were a problem. Why are you weaponizing your own poor decisions? When will these people learn? When it comes to your experience on the internet, you can literally cater it to exactly how you want it to be. It's not hard. She even turned off her VODs because people were going back and revealing how she had them muted initially and decided to unmute them to goad them further. That was just plain dumb. And based on that alone, can we determine that she's just farming this controversy for content? I would say highly likely, but let's continue.
She shouldn't have to mute. People should just not be disgusting, toxic losers.
Well, I shouldn't have to take a crash course in defensive driving on the I-75 in South Miami, but it's gonna happen anyway. If I didn't have such a weakness for Cuban women, I would have dealt with that problem a long time ago. But that's not gonna happen now, is it? The first thing I used to do in some of these online games was mute comms and immediately run it down mid. That's how I had my fun. If she's made a life out of gaming for herself, she should already know that it's you versus the enemy team and your team. You have no friends. Everyone in that lobby is your opponent. You can't just come into an already established space and demand everyone have your sensibilities. That's the #1 way to get yourself laughed off of the internet. As someone who was young and dumb once, you have no idea what you just did for this kid. You have literally given him an immortalized badge of honor. He got you to rage quit, told all his friends, and then saw you post your failure to the internet. You've just given him the gaming equivalent of a Purple Heart. There's even a video posted that's not really getting a lot of traction on this guy's side of what's happening, and I'm just gonna play it.
Alright, well, take 3. So, I miss her, that's this camera right here, yeah?
Hey, what's going on?
Anyway, Taylor Morgan apparently fucking feared for her life or some shit like that the other day, but she wants to add me as a friend. You tell me how you feel about that. Oh, I miss her.
I think that's pretty goofy,
Well,
outrageous, and preposterous.
well, the thing is, she wants to go on the internet and act like we're bad human beings, but she adds me as a friend. Like, it's just a bit odd to me, mate. Don't you reckon?
I think it's very strange.
Matter of fact, I'm upset.
Tell me why you're upset.
Because she wants to sit here and she wants to say lies about my friend and try and bait us into rape allegations. And I'm not having it. Do you understand?
I understand. But I'm not too happy myself.
Anyway, like and subscribe.
As you can see, he and his friend are clearly distraught and devastated from the actions that they had portrayed on her stream. Even if his account gets banned, he can literally create a new one and continue forward with his conquest of pissing people off in voice comms. You only got the tip of the iceberg of the things that men say to one another in these online games. You have no idea the soul-crushing devastation felt when the most toxic player on your team is also the only person pulling any weight in the match. Literally, it really isn't that big a deal because once you get into the next lobby, you will not think about that person ever again. And then when the game's over, you just load up and do it again. If you can't handle that base level of toxicity, competitive online gaming may not be for you. Maybe you should head back to Stardew Valley. Seriously? Someone in a video game who has no idea who you are or what you look like? I mean, not anymore because you done posted it to the vultures. Someone who has no idea where you are, saying that he's gonna force himself upon you was enough to get you to rage quit? Sister, let me tell you. Wait, hold up. Let me make something clear. It's one thing if you are in the real world, minding your business, and some random guy just pulled up to you and started talking crazy like that. I fully believe all Americans should be able to practice their Second Amendment rights when put in a life-threatening situation. Nor am I trying to downplay the experience of people who have actually been assaulted, but I think her making a big stink about this in the way that she is kind of disrespectful to the real victims. Do I know if she's a real victim? I do not, I admit it. But can this instance qualify her for victimhood? I don't think so. But come on, it's Valorant. You really think you're gonna change anything? As long as those $30 skins are flying off of the shelves, your complaints are a fart in the wind. This is not the hill you want to die on. There is actual injustice happening to women all around the world.
Well, if you was born in Pakistan, originally from Pakistan, you must have been kidnapped by me.
You've been kidnapped by you?
Of course. Because there is no option to get you, right?
Okay. You have your women over there, though.
Seriously. So you are in Canada, so I cannot say you anything.
Okay.
I cannot touch you anything. Because it is Canada.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely you couldn't touch me. There's laws to this shit here.
You know what I mean?
That's not that flattering. That's kind of scary.
Trust me. Because, like, there was no option.
Okay. Well, you have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, Shabba Boom Boom.
You getting told mean things on your $1,000 gaming setup in your air-conditioned house somewhere on the West Coast is helping them zero. And you tell me, without moving the goalpost, how can we actually take these people seriously when some of the more popular ones are saying garbage like this?
Genuinely, like, my worst fear is having a son. I'm not even being funny. In general, I think it would just be like more fun to have a girl. Even if you have a son and even if you think he's normal, like, he can like just like become a misogynist one day and there's nothing you can do about it. If I were to have a boy, we better pray to God that he's gay. We better start indoctrinating him day one. We have to either make him trans or make him gay. We are not having a cisgender straight son.
And this person saying these horribly evil things is the same kind of woman that would go on the internet and complain about how men are the problem.
known for being toxic and unsafe. Any male-dominated space is a bad one. I don't know how you could possibly find it fun to make other people feel unsafe. No woman is asking men to make gaming a safe space with sunshine and rainbows and everything.
Like, unironically, what is this girl saying? She's literally not making any sense. She needs to be ignored. People like this give competent girl gamers a bad fucking rap. League of Legends has been trying and failing for years to lower the toxicity in their games, but the players will only get more creative. Why do you think Valorant will be any different? If you can't take the heat, get out of the... Hold up. She's a woman. She belongs in the kitchen. She should be able to take the heat. Go fucking do laundry or something. But really, what I want to get into is the yesification of male-dominated spaces to make room for girls that don't want to assimilate, but instead fundamentally change the way we interact with one another. We don't live in a time of hunting and gathering anymore. The male mind needs some way to cope. Being able to yell racial slurs and make threats of bodily harm to you and your loved ones is our way of winding down. And I, for one, do not want to give that up. Taylor is even going as far as posting usernames to speed up the process, which I won't be posting because doxing isn't cool. But in reality, if these guys in the vid weren't clearly children, I'd buy them a beer. What do you think is gonna happen when you finally take all of our male spaces away? This is not an attempt at being rhetorical. I'm genuinely curious. You get into these franchises when they were created for men and plant your feet to demand change. Once it comes around, you leave the franchise an emptied husk, ruined for those that actually care for the IP. We are unironically seeing it unfold in all media. It started out slow. Strong woman here, race change there, and now it's just being shoved in our faces and we're being told we have to deal with it. No, we don't. I, for one, am not. But that doesn't stop them. Marvel, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Indiana Jones, Warhammer, Horizon Zero Dawn, Helldivers, fucking anime. Why can't we have anything? Not even Doctor Who is safe from the garbage. Doctor fucking Who, the modern audience is a myth. And the same retards that want us to go away and make our own stuff won't even let us have that, because once it hits the normie side of culture, it's cooked. That's why this Gamergate 2 stuff is happening. Nerds just want to sit in their caves and play with their beautiful 3D wives, but they won't even let us have that. We can't even nope out of society peacefully. Gamers are, by your own definition, the undesirables. So why do you desire our things? I support gatekeeping your hobbies. It's not fair that tourists only come into something because it's popular and force companies to bend the knee to current day dribble. Thank goodness the DEI well is starting to run dry and companies are realizing that the customer is always right, but it's still an uphill battle, unfortunately. I mean, as long as these franchises continue to have people in charge, especially community managers that have no idea how to interact with the fan base, we're gonna keep having to go through this nonsense of finding out that these companies don't really care for our money. One of the more recent examples is a grimdark game that's currently in development called Crusade, whose whole premise is, what if the apocalypse happened and humans fought side by side with the armies of heaven against the literal forces of hell? The game didn't have an official Discord, so they were trapping out of the 2018 Discord server, and in classic power tripping fashion decided they would purge all discussion of the game and lock down the server due to political discourse. Who would have thought that a game about heaven and hell coming to earth to duke it out for the soul of humanity might bring in the people with a more conservative leaning opinion on that kind of stuff? And one of the quickest ways that a company has committed seppuku, in my honest opinion, a decent amount of good faith that was built up for this franchise in lieu of the tabletop shaped hole that Warhammer left for a lot of people was dashed in the same instant. Honestly, this setting is cool to me and the artwork is dope. I would like to think that this current situation is just a fluke and people will be able to enjoy the game, but kicking out people who genuinely care and wish to lore build in your community is a good way to show that you don't want to make money. But honestly, what do I know? Guess we'll have to wait and see. But from my side of Twitter, this is looking like another DOA. But I couldn't just leave it there because I don't believe in allowing yourself to stay in echo chambers. So all I did was type Crusade into the search function at X, and I could see that there are still plenty of people who give a big fat freaking hoot about this game, and it's even gone as far as reaching 18 times its goal for backing on Kickstarter. So the game might be fine, but at the end of the day, it comes down not to initial reception, but longevity. So we'll see. Back to Taylor Morgan. I'm not calling her a tourist per se. She's made a career out of playing video games, and it looks like she actually cares about what she does and what she contributes to the space. But you have to nut up, sister. This is the internet. No one cares truly. I'm not condoning what this kid said to you, but people have to understand that's what the mute and report functions are for. There's no point in making a mountain out of this molehill. To the people who say, why do they have to say that stuff? Why can't they just not be mean? What kind of a retarded question is that? Ask the crackhead why they do crack, ask the murderer why they murder. The answer is shut the fuck up and mind your business. Wait, I recant that. You don't have to shut the fuck up, but don't be surprised if you get that answer a lot. Online competitive games are always going to have that level of toxicity to them. It's one of those things that you either ignore or embrace. It's a harsh reality, and the more you try to fix it, the worse it'll get. If you don't like it so much, you leave. Or at least when we do, don't follow us. The same people you call bigots and intolerant are the very same people that would be super chill to hang out and talk to as long as you respect the lore of the things that they like. It's really not that hard. The reason why it even came to the attention of tourists is because it was good the way it was. So if you go in there to change it, it's no longer going to be the thing that attracted you in the first place. With online games, let people enjoy it the way that they enjoy it. If you don't like it, go do something else or mute them. It's really not that hard to do. You have to understand that under the anonymity of the internet, people are going to say some crazy things, and it's up to you as a rationally thinking person to recognize when it's all talk. If you're having a mental breakdown every time someone says something crazy to you online, I think at that point just seek professional help. Oh, and to Morgan, one of the easiest things to remember about the internet is this: don't feed the trolls. The great filter exists, people, and Taylor fell victim to it. Peace.